Welcome to Simply English, an educational channel.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to dive into something we all deal with.
Uh-oh, what's that?
Negative people. You know, the type who'd find a reason to complain even if they won the lottery.
Oh, those. Haha. Yeah, we all know a few, I bet.
Exactly. So we're going deep on this guide called How to Deal with Negative People Around You. Think of it as like our toolkit for dealing with energy vampires.
That's a great way to put it. And it's more than just like a mood thing, right?
Oh, definitely.
This negativity stuff, it can really impact your work, your creativity, even your health if it goes on too long.
It's true. I once sat through this brainstorming meeting, and there was this one person, oh my gosh, their pessimism was so thick you could cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
It was like watching good ideas just shrivel up and die right there on the spot.
Ugh, I can picture it. It's painful.
The worst. So the big question is, how do we not get sucked into that negativity vortex?
Yeah.
Luckily, this guide has some really cool insights.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, they start with this idea that negative people are often like acting out their own internal struggles.
That's interesting. So it's not always intentional.
Right. The guide's saying that negativity can come from, insecurities, past hurts, unresolved stuff.
Because like they're projecting their own inner turmoil onto everyone else.
Yeah. Kind of like when I accidentally wore mismatched shoes to work that one time. Wasn't intentional, just a reflection of my chaotic morning.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so their negativity might be a symptom of something deeper, but how does that help me deal with it, in the heat of the moment?
That's the key question.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where this idea of understanding the why becomes so powerful.
Oh, I see. So it's less about them attacking me and more about what they're going through.
Exactly. The guide says recognizing that it's not always personal can help you detach a little bit emotionally.
So it's like I'm gaining that extra layer of like emotional armor.
Totally. Instead of immediately getting defensive, I can pause, take a step back and be like, okay, this negativity might not actually be about me.
It's about what's going on with them.
Right.
That is such a helpful reframe.
Right. So I'm working on that emotional detachment. But what about setting boundaries? Because sometimes I feel like I just let those negative vibes wash over me. This guide really stresses the importance of boundaries, comparing them to like that velvet rope at a VIP club. You decide who gets access to your energy and your peace of mind. But how do I actually do that?
That's where things get tricky. It's about communicating your needs clearly, but respectfully.
Okay, so how do I say, hey, back off with the negativity without actually saying that?
Well, the guide has this great example phrase. They say, I appreciate you sharing your concerns, but I'd love to focus on solutions instead of dwelling on the problems.
Oh, that's good. It acknowledges their feelings but redirects the conversation.
Precisely.
I'm definitely adding that one to my toolkit. But what about those situations where I can't completely avoid this person, like at work or with family? How do I set boundaries when I can't just walk away?
Boundaries are even more crucial in those situations, actually. Even small adjustments can help.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, let's say face-to-face conversations always end up as negativity fests. Maybe try email or text when you can.
Oh, so limiting the FaceTime.
Right. Or if you're stuck in a meeting and you feel that negativity draining you, excuse yourself for a break. Just a few minutes to reset.
Taking a breather when things get intense? That's a good tip. I like that. But even with all the boundaries in the world, it's still so easy to take that negativity personally, especially if it seems directed at you. How do I stop those negative comments from, taking root?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, isn't it? The guide really hammers home the point that a lot of the negativity you experience isn't actually about you.
I mean, easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. But that's where self-awareness is so important. Ask yourself, what are my vulnerabilities? What buttons does this person tend to push, even if they don't realize it?
So if I know my own triggers, I can be more prepared, like I'm going into a verbal sparring match, and I need to know what moves to watch out for.
Exactly. And the guide also talks about the power of affirmations.
Oh yeah, affirmations, I've tried those before.
They're not just fluffy feel-good stuff, though.
Really?
There's research showing that consciously focusing on positive statements can actually help rewire your brain to be more resilient to all that negativity.
Wow, I had no idea there was actual science behind it. Are there any affirmations that are like especially helpful for dealing with other people's negativity?
Oh, there are tons. But a simple one that I find really powerful is, I am in control of my own thoughts and feelings.
I am in control of my own thoughts and feelings. I
But
like that.
repeating that throughout the day can help you keep that sense of control, even when you're surrounded by negativity.
It's like a little mantra to remind myself I don't have to absorb all that bad energy. Okay, so we're setting boundaries, detaching emotionally, using affirmations. But what if I've tried all of that and I'm still feeling overwhelmed?
That's when you might need what the guide calls a strategic retreat.
A strategic retreat. Okay, tell me more. What does that involve?
It's not about ghosting the person or anything rude like that. It's more about consciously choosing to limit your exposure to their negativity. It's about protecting yourself. Sometimes that means physically removing yourself from the situation, taking a walk, going to a different room, or just ending the conversation.
So basically, I'm giving myself permission to prioritize my own mental health.
Exactly. You don't have to just sit there and take it.
That's a good reminder. I tend to be a bit of a people pleaser, so this whole protecting my energy thing is new for me.
Oh,
Okay, so we've got understanding where the negativity is coming from, setting boundaries, not taking it personally, those affirmations, and a, this strategic retreat when things get bad. Whew, that's a lot. But what if I have to interact with this person, like at work? Is there anything I could do to like proactively shift the energy?
Oh, good question. And this is where the guide gets really interesting. They talk about becoming a solution seeker.
A solution seeker. I like the sound of that.
It's all about shifting from complaints to action.
So instead of getting bogged down in the negativity, I try to redirect the conversation.
You got it. The guide even gives some specific questions you can use, like, how can we fix this? Or what steps can we take to improve the situation?
So I'm basically challenging them to move out of the problem and into like solution mode.
Right. And you might be surprised how effective that can be.
It's like I'm helping them climb out of that negativity quicksand, give them something solid to hold on to.
Perfect analogy. It really can shift the dynamic that way.
Okay, so I'm deflecting negativity, I'm setting boundaries, I'm even steering the conversation towards solutions. I'm like a negativity ninja over here. But what about ME? What happens when I need a boost?
You mean when you need a dose of positivity yourself?
Exactly.
That's where your positivity posse comes in.
My positivity posse.
Yeah. The guide talks about how important it is to surround yourself with people who are, positive and supportive. Those people who lift you up.
Oh, my positivity posse is everything.
Mhm.
I've got this amazing group of friends and mentors. They're like a walking, talking antidote to negativity. They always remind me of my strengths. They help me see the good in everything.
That's awesome. And it's more than just like a feel-good thing.
Oh, really? There's science behind this, too.
Yeah. Research shows that spending time with positive people can actually make your brain more resilient to negativity.
Wow, so my positivity posse is basically give me a brain upgrade. That's amazing.
It's like building a buffer. The more positive influences you have in your life, the less those negative interactions will get to you.
I'm loving this visual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a negativity superhero.
Yeah.
Got my emotional shield. Andy, I recharge with my positivity posse. Unstoppable.
Love it. And speaking of emotional shield, the guide also mentions mindfulness.
Okay, mindfulness. I'm picturing like deep breathing, meditation, all that good stuff.
Yep. But it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just taking a few moments to focus on your breath can help you recenter.
So I can use that to detach from the negativity that's going on around me.
Exactly. Bring yourself back to the present moment.
Do you have any like go-to techniques when you're feeling overwhelmed?
I'm a big fan of that 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tell me more.
Super simple, but it works. You just notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Oh, I see. Engaging all the senses.
Yep. Brings you right back into your body.
I'm adding that one to my list for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of serious stuff today. Can we lighten things up a bit?
Of course. What did you have in mind?
Well, the guide mentions humor as a good way to diffuse tension. And I'm all about a well-timed joke.
Me too. Laughter is the best medicine, right?
Absolutely. But is there a right way and a wrong way to use humor in these situations?
That's a good point. The guide does caution against using sarcasm or anything that could come across as mean-spirited.
Right, we don't want to escalate the situation.
Exactly. The key is to keep it light, keep it playful, and if you're going to poke fun at something, poke fun at yourself.
So like self-deprecating humor is good.
Always a winner. For example, let's say someone's complaining about a long line at the coffee shop. You could say something like, well, at least we're getting our steps in.
Uh-huh. I like that. It's finding the humor in the situation without making the person the target of the joke. Okay, so we're understanding negativity, setting boundaries. We know when to make a strategic retreat. We've got our positivity posse on speed dial. We're practicing mindfulness, and we're even ingesting a bit of humor. But is there anything more proactive we can do? Can we be the ones to, like, turn the tide?
Now you're thinking. And yes, the guide actually encourages us to be sources of positivity ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So instead of just deflecting negativity, I can actively radiate positivity.
You got it. And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It's the little things that count.
Like what? Give me an example.
Genuine compliments, expressions of gratitude, even just smiling here often.
So I can be a walking, talking positivity ray gun, just zapping those negative vibes with kindness and appreciation. I'm into it. But let's be real, there's some people who are just relentlessly negative. Like no matter how much positivity you throw at them, it just bounces right off. What do we do about those people?
Yeah, that's when things get tough. And honestly, the guide does say that sometimes the healthiest choice is to create some distance.
I could see that. But I imagine it's a hard decision, especially if it's someone you care about.
It is, but sometimes you have to prioritize your own well-being.
It's like that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Right. But you also don't have to stand there and get splashed.
So true. All right, we've covered so much today. I feel like we've gone from negativity novices to negativity ninjas. What are your final thoughts on all of this?
It's true, and it is hard. But sometimes it's the best thing for everyone involved.
I hear that. Okay, so big takeaway here. We got tons of tools for dealing with other people's negativity. But you know, as we're talking about this, it makes me think about that negativity we sometimes carry within ourselves.
Oh, yeah, the inner critic, that voice that's always whispering doubts and fears.
Exactly. We can have all these amazing strategies for dealing with negativity from the outside world.
Right.
But if we're battling negativity from the inside...
It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks.
Perfect analogy.
Sure.
So how do we deal with that kind of negativity?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think a lot of the same principles apply.
Really? You mean like the boundaries and the affirmations and all that?
Exactly. Self-awareness, boundaries, positive self-talk, mindfulness. These can all be just as effective for managing our own internal negativity as they are for dealing with it from other people.
So it's like I can use affirmations to challenge those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And set boundaries with my inner critic.
Yes. And don't forget self-compassion. We're usually much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend.
That's so true. I'm much quicker to forgive a friend for a mistake than I am to forgive myself.
Exactly. So try to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend who's struggling.
Okay, I'm going to work on that. It's amazing to me how all these techniques we've been talking about, they're all interconnected. You know, it's not just about deflecting negativity. It's about cultivating positivity from the inside out.
I love that. It's a whole person approach to well-being.
Yeah, and it makes me feel so much more empowered. Like I'm not just at the mercy of other people's moods.
That's the goal.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive, and wow, what a journey it's been. I hope you're leaving today feeling more equipped to handle those negative vibes. What's one thing that's really resonating with you?
I think for me, it's that reminder that we always have a choice. We can choose to react to negativity with, frustration, defensiveness.
Right.
Or we can choose to respond with understanding, compassion, maybe even a little humor.
It's like we're turning that negativity into something more positive. We become the calm in the storm, the solution seekers in a world that often focuses on the problems.
Beautifully said. And to everyone listening out there, remember, you have everything you need within you to deal with whatever negativity comes your way.
Trust yourself, practice these techniques, and you've got this. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder all of this amazing advice.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.
Welcome to Simply English, an educational channel. Thanks for watching this video from Simply English, an educational channel for all ages and all stages. If you're new to this channel and enjoyed this video, please subscribe and press the like button. If you have any suggestions, please mention them in the comments section. Take care, and goodbye.